The airport may be busier than usual. TSA predicting the peak travel period from tomorrow through the 24th. We'll see a 5% increase from last year. TSA saying the busiest travel days during the spring break period will likely be on Fridays and Sundays. Nearly 3 million passengers could be screened on those days. Mayor Andre Dickens and other dignitaries breaking ground on a $63 million redevelopment project on the former site of the Bowen Homes housing project.
The development calls for 151 units of housing, with many reserved for households meeting predetermined income limits. Planners say it is a major part of efforts to revitalize the Brookview Heights neighborhood near Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway and I-285. Other features include green space and a community resource center and innovation hub. Bowen Homes was raised in 2009, and the 74-acre site has gone unused since. Federal funds, grants, and bonds will help finance the project. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, this is new here at noon. A couple facing child abuse charges in Paulding County. Andre and Wesley Thomas are charged with battery and cruelty. The investigation started after reports from a school about possible abuse against a student while that child was not at school. The Paulding County Child Advocacy Center interviewed suspected victims, but did not say how many there are. There's no comment on the relationship between the suspects and the victims. We'll bring you more on this story as we get it. Congresswoman Lucy McBath planning to run for governor of Georgia. She's now filed the paperwork to explore a run. She's launched an exploratory committee that will allow her to start raising campaign cash now. A federal appeals court rules an excessive force lawsuit against former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill can go forward.
Former jail detainee Glenn Howell is suing Victor Hill. He alleges civil rights abuses and excessive force after he says he was kept in restraint chairs for hours. Hill says he should be immune from the lawsuit because he was performing his official duties as sheriff in keeping the jail safe. The federal court in Atlanta rejects Hill's appeal. It cites its own previous decision to uphold Hill's criminal conviction and subsequent 18-month prison sentence. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Now your health. Are you up to date on all your screenings? Some cancer screenings have rebounded since the pandemic decreased numbers. The study from the American Cancer Society published in JAMA Medical Journal looking at data through 2023. The lead author is Jessica Starr.
We saw increases and rebounds in both breast and colorectal cancer screening after the COVID-19 pandemic.
She says the increase was not seen for cervical cancer screenings, though. And this is Ash Wednesday. Michael Kastner reporting Catholics around the world are marking the beginning of Lent.
Many will go to church to have a priest smear ashes on their forehead. The ashes symbolize mourning and penance. They also remind Catholics of their mortality. Many Christians give up something tangible for Lent, such as liquor or a favorite food. They may also reflect on their lives and decide whether to make changes. It's all part of a conscious effort to purify themselves for Good Friday, which marks the death of Jesus Christ on the cross, and for Easter Sunday, which celebrates his resurrection.
All right, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 121 at 42,642. NASDAQ is down slightly. So is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour Traffic Center with a look at your lunchtime roads.
And just found some new trouble in Gwinnett County, Sabrina. Looks like, I think it's a stall in the center lane, 85 southbound between Beaver Ruin Road and Indian Trail. So that is starting to cause a little bit of volume coming out of Duluth heading toward Norcross. If you're traveling into town via 400 southbound, you're going to find the brake lights 400 south just below Lennox Road. That's that left lane construction on the 400 south ramp to 85 south. So some volume there. And in Clayton County, Hero just blocked and reopened all lanes quickly. Got a stall off to the right, 75 northbound at Forest Parkway, exit 237. And construction in the right lane, 20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Now your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta Homes.
Partly to mostly cloudy this afternoon, high 62. An isolated rain shower can't be ruled out. It'll be breezy through the course of today. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Clearing out for tonight, turning chilly. Morning lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 55. Friday, mostly cloudy, morning low 38, afternoon highs in the mid-60s. This weekend, mostly cloudy skies with a few hit-or-miss rain showers, morning lows in the upper 40s, daytime highs in the upper 50s to low 60s.
56 degrees. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be absolutely delighted to have you with me. We got so much we got to cover today. Man, that speech last night, it set the Democrats up for disaster. They don't even realize that they have a problem on the Democratic side, that they genuinely don't appreciate that they have a real problem because they're so out of touch. Donald Trump had a masterful performance last night, genuinely masterful performance, and it shows in the polling today. Even the American media is having to acknowledge that Donald Trump actually gave a good speech. And now, let me just say, yes, it was probably too long. It wasn't probably, it was too long. It was too long. But the genius of the way he did it was he packaged it not for Congress, but for social media. And that in and of itself matters because this was a clippable speech designed to go viral, and not just to go viral as a speech, but to go viral with the reactions of the Democratic Party. And in going viral with the reactions of the Democratic Party, he kind of exposed just how out of touch the Democrats are. I want to begin Donald Trump's speech with two moments that I thought were the most compelling in the whole speech. There were lots, and we got lots of sound bites. And so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to run through Donald Trump's statements last night and his lines, and then I'm going to pivot to the media reaction, the public reaction, and then in the second hour we can deal with the Democrats, and then we can get on to the other news from there, tariffs, Ukraine, all of that stuff. But the speech is the big story, and this was, I thought, one of the most compelling, if not the most compelling, moments of Donald Trump's speech last night was his willingness to do the hard work of outlining exactly what has been found by DOJ for an American public that with the whirlwind around them for the last few weeks might not even have realized this was happening. He started off with his commendation of Elon Musk and his praise of Elon Musk. And then once he got through the praise of Elon Musk, decided to outline the crazy stuff that DOJ has found. And in doing it, Donald Trump, exposed as fools the Democrats who themselves refused to applaud anything. They were just so angry the entire night. They couldn't process that maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump was onto something. And in fact, the polling afterwards showed the public had problems with the Democrats. They didn't have problems with Donald Trump. Well, hang on a second. Technical difficulty here as I rearrange the broadcast. Here we go. This was the president.
We have already identified $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia.
By the way, I think that's vegan climate action.
$2 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. You know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
That was brilliant. It was brilliant that Donald Trump did that. Why was it brilliant that Donald Trump did that? Because a lot of that stuff has gotten lost in the buzz of social media. A lot of that stuff has gotten lost in the conversation. Let's just acknowledge there has been so much that has happened since January 20th. The nonstop rush, I said yesterday, my biggest criticism about Donald Trump's tenure in office thus far is that I need him to go on a 3-day vacation so I can catch up to all the news that's happened that I haven't been able to talk about because it's a whirlwind. Just give us 3 days to catch up, Mr. President. Go play golf. Such a juxtaposition for the last president. So, dude gave the longest speech a president of the United States has ever given to Congress last night. Joe Biden would have been drooling by the end of the speech and incoherent. And Trump had the stamina, roughly the same age, and had the stamina to keep going. And highlighting those things, elevating those things, really just it will echo in the minds of the American public. And the Democrats couldn't do anything. The Democrats wouldn't applaud anything. The Democrats wanted to defend the spending. In fact, I played you yesterday the former Democratic head of USAID explaining why we needed to pay for LGBTQIA plus aid in Lesotho. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. If you think the government needs to pay for that, you go write a check yourself. I don't think the government with a $35 trillion national debt needs to be paying for this stuff. And Trump highlighting it will resonate with the American public. The media may be dismissive of it. The Democrats may be dismissive of it. But the American public's like, we're paying for what? Then there was the other line, the solid line by the president. That I think is going to reverberate probably more than most. In fact, I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning, and he said, for those of us committed to conservatism,
my administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, Little John and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen. That right there. I want every child in America to know you are perfect the way God made you. There is a resonant line in this issue. You know, Donald Trump invited the young lady who was injured by the trans volleyball player. He could hit the ball so much harder, hit her in the face, caused damage to her, some permanent, some temporary, some partial paralysis, among other things. And the Democrats are on the side of the dude who injured the girl. I have to tell you, anecdote is not data. Anecdote is not data, but anecdotally, I have gotten messages from 3 friends this morning who are in relationships with, all of them said, center-left girls, 1 an immigrant, 2 American, and all of them last night had not heard the story of the volleyball player. And they watched the speech last night. And all 3 of the young ladies, according to the men they're in relationships with, reached out to me and said, that's when the light bulb went on with them. They saw that girl. And they heard the story. They'd never heard the story before. And they saw the Democrats' reaction, which was to ignore her and pretend she did not exist. This is an 80-20 issue, and that was the genius of Donald Trump's speech last night. Donald Trump highlighted a series of 80-20 issues. Popular support, 80%. Securing the border, reducing crime, getting boys out of girls' sports, all of these issues. And Democrats not only refused to applaud, in some cases they booed. That's not a good look for the Democrats. Yes, events change things. Yes, Donald Trump and tariffs could cause problems. The Dow rebounding today, by the way, the S&P 500 rebounding after tariffs. Lutnick saying they may go on and walk back the tariffs after just a day. The Democrats have become the party of 20%. And it's the 20% left-wing fringe in this country that the overwhelming majority of Americans have rejected. It is this group of people that the Democrats are catering to, this left-wing cohort that is out of touch with the values of the majority of Americans. And last night, they couldn't even cheer on a boy with brain cancer because they're so in the pocket of the left, and they just don't know how to oppose Donald Trump rationally. Everything must be opposed. And so what did Donald Trump do? Made them squirm for 2 hours as he staked out 80-20 position after 80-20 position after 80-20 position, and the Democrats couldn't muster even the politest applause for it. That's actually really bad politics for them.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Some brake lights over on the west side, outer loop, 285 southbound. It's sluggish from South Cobb Drive, trying to get down to I-20, the West Freeway. 400 southbound, you're still slow out of Buckhead into Midtown with that left lane construction, ramping on to 85 south, and just found right lane construction up in the Oakwood area. 985 and northbound, getting past Highway 13, exit 17. That road works in the right lane. Traffic brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union. Georgia United Credit Union has cooked up something special, a 15-month limited time CD with an incredible incredible 4.25% APY. Turn your dough into more dough by visiting gucu.org/CD today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today, we're talking with the experts about Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows, Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows. What's the difference in price shopping versus making an investment when it comes to shopping for windows?
If you're just price shopping, you will likely end up with an inferior product and installation, and your windows will likely need to be replaced again. With your investment in Infinity Fiberglass Windows, you get a superior product and replace your windows with windows you'll never need to replace.
With all the different home styles in Georgia, how does the Infinity window match up?
Designed by a wood window architect at Marvin, Infinity Fiberglass windows fit the look of your home like traditional wood windows, but don't rot. There's also less window frame, so they appeal to contemporary homeowners too. Less frame equals more light and bigger views.
What about the warranty on the Infinity Fiberglass windows?
Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows are the only premium window with a limited lifetime warranty. Backed by a company that's been in business for over 100 years, North Georgia Replacement Windows also has a lifetime service warranty.
So, Jonathan, how does someone find out more about the Infinity Fiberglass Windows? What's the process?
We're the only authorized retailer in Georgia for the Infinity Fiberglass Windows, where we can provide a free in-home consultation and proposal with no gimmicks.
Jonathan and Ted, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, experience, and expertise. Right now at North Georgia Replacement Windows, spring deals are blooming. You'll get 18% off your project, plus up to 24 months no interest, no payment financing. Hurry, these offers end 3/31/25. Be sure to visit our beautiful new showroom in Alpharetta. And don't forget to check out our website for all the details on these special financing offers and savings. Visit us today at ngwindows.com. That's ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Hey, Belinda here, and I have Barry Petrie, Director of Virtual Imaging. Barry has a very interesting testimonial to share with our listeners. Barry, tell us your story.
Well, Belinda, exactly a year ago when I took over my role, one of the first things I did was scan. And at the time, I was 54 years old, never had any issues, was in a good shape, worked out every day. And I was shocked to find out that I had a score of over 1,000 in my calcium. So, and most of that 1,000 was concentrated in my LAD, which you know is the Widowmaker.
Not good.
So immediately started working with an interventional cardiologist, started working with a functional medicine specialist to try to correct that. And unfortunately, about 4 months ago, I started having symptoms and rescanned, and at this point my calcium score had gone from 1,000 to over 1,500, and that LAD score had gone up to over 1,000. So long story short, ended up going to Northside, getting a stent put into my LAD, and now today I feel great. I regained the gear that I didn't know that I had lost, and had I not taken this role as director of virtual imaging a year ago, I probably would have not known this, and I could have been one of those folks that looks perfectly healthy and drops dead.
Absolutely. Folks, that story hits home. What are you waiting for? Go to Virtual Imaging and get a complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse. Call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or visit virtualimagingatl.com. It could save your life.
It's your money. Get it sooner. All you need is direct deposit with a checking or savings account at Coosa Valley Credit Union. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union. Not only can you get your money sooner, but we believe in kinder banking where you deal with real people in person, not automation or a virtual teller. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always nearby and local. So get your money sooner and experience kinder banking at Coosa Valley Credit Union today. Online at mycvcu.org.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Erick Erickson here. This last night, Donald Trump talking about the border. One of the big moments out of the gate got the Republicans fired up.
But we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country.
And this right here.
Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
He's not wrong. The data proves it. Record low people showing up at the border now. Between bank collapses and more teetering on the edge as the Republicans try to figure out what to do with all the bank regulations the Democrats have been passing, Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash. They're the trusted leader in precious metals for 40 years in this country, and they have been, well, trying to help you safeguard your hard-earned cash. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Swiss America can educate you on protecting your assets in their report. It takes less than 15 minutes to read. It can save your retirement and finances. Get a free copy by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The All Out War on Cash includes digital forms of currency. You can just mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. Swiss America wants to help you save your hard-earned cash and also educate you on what the government is doing to, well, root out your spending, including with crypto. Call or text 800-289-2646. Give them my name, 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This just in. A child who was abducted in Atlanta 7 years ago has been found safe in Colorado. 2 people now facing charges. U.S. Marshal Kirk Taylor says Abdul Aziz Khan, now 14 years old, was found with his non-custodial mother and her husband just outside of Denver, Colorado.
We went to 11 different states looking for this young lady and the child, and it had really gone cold. We entered it in NCMEC, we'd entered it in everything we could to try to keep shaking the tree and rattling the bushes to see if we could get it to fall out.
Aziz and another child were taken into protective custody by authorities. Aziz's disappearance went viral after it was documented in Netflix Unsolved Mysteries series. Your weather for today, cloudy and windy. Afternoon high around 62, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Georgia Tech breaking ground today on its first new traditional dorm in nearly 50 years. The Curran Street Residence Hall will be used by first-year students when it opens in the fall of 2026.
It's about a long-term plan that we have for housing to be able to bring more students onto campus and allow them to have access to that education.
The university's Jenny Cotton says the 8-story building will be about 191,000 square feet and will have room for more than 850 students. She says it will also help expand the size of Georgia Tech's first-year class. Changes may be coming concerning tariffs. The president reportedly talking to Canada today. Check back for updates on that. And now to Rome on this Ash Wednesday. Pope Francis is absent from ceremonies in Rome. The Vatican saying the 88-year-old pontiff remains stable and has had no new episodes of respiratory failure. He is back on a high-flow, non-invasive oxygen this afternoon. It is 12:32.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Hey, this is Rocco at Rocco's European Garage, and we invite you to come see us at our 6th location, now open off of Main Street, halfway between downtown Alpharetta and Milton. At Rocco's European Garage, we take pride in offering full service and repair on any European vehicle. You'll always get effective communication, upfront all-in pricing, and you approve the work prior to us beginning. Plus a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker, always at a better value than the dealership. Now open in Alpharetta or find a location near you at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from My Roofer, FGA Roofing. Is your roof starting to show its age? It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It happens. Taking on all that nature can throw at it year after year. Well, the good news is you're not stuck with a worn, outdated look on your home. If your home's exterior could use an upgrade, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, now is the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberline shingles, much more, slate, tile, wood shake, and of course asphalt shingles. FGA has them all. A new designer roof can be an instant eye-appeal update for your home that'll last for many years, and your timing is terrific. FGA Roofing can be at your home the next day for a no-obligation quote and get your job finished in 2 weeks in most cases. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about FGA Roofing from Scott Slade. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
And we're still watching the construction 400 southbound as you merge with I-85 southbound. Left lane's blocked there. You're slow from Lennox Road. Downtown sluggish. Connector south 17th Street down to North Avenue. Northbound tapping the brakes as you leave I-20 up to Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy and breezy today. A stray rain shower can't be ruled out. High 62. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour.
58 degrees in Forest Park, 56 in Marietta, 55 in Lithia Springs. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson here across America. Delighted to have you with me as always. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to text the word data to 33777, you can get the show notes, which you should subscribe to, and you get a discount. It helps keep us going here, but also you get all the links to all of the stuff I'm talking about on the show today. Now, I want to move on to the public reaction to Donald Trump's speech. The genius, as I have said, of Trump's speech last night is he hit a bunch of 80-20 issues where 80% of the public supports him. And this bears out now in the overnight reaction to the polling. Here's the CBS News instant reaction. A large majority of speech watchers approved of what they heard from President Trump's joint address to Congress Tuesday night. The viewership was heavily Republican. Historically, a president's party draws more of their own partisans. This was no exception, and they liked what they heard. 76% approved, 23% disapproved. 63% said Trump spent time on issues they cared about. 51% were Republicans, 27 independent, 20% Democrats. The CBS News YouGov survey interviewed a nationally representative sample of speech watchers immediately afterwards. The Democrats who watched it said they felt worried. Some felt angry. Most said they felt hopeful or proud. Now, this is the thing I look at when I look at polling. Having been a political consultant, I'm not interested in the partisans. I'm interested in the independents. And guess what? The independents like the speech. Donald Trump has been losing independents in the polling. He's got such a strong grab on the GOP that he's still in majority popular approval, but the independents have been drifting away from him the last few weeks, and they liked the speech. It was the Democrats who hated the speech. I want to play Major Garrett from CBS News. This is his analysis of the speech. This is a reporter for a network that has increasingly gone to the left, a reporter himself who on more than one occasion lately has Republicans, myself included, have been complaining about him. But listen to this.
So I've learned to be humble about analyzing speeches like this because the country often catches on to things that those of us in Washington might not sift the way the country does. When the president listed things that he thought were extravagant examples of wasteful spending, those of us around this table might say, well, that's not going to be enough, even if you cut all that to balance the budget, which is $840 billion out of balance. But Americans will hear it and say, wait a minute, those things sound wasteful to me. Sounds like Elon Musk and the president are on to something. There was also tremendous emotive power in several parts of the speech that I think will resonate across the country. Whether it's Laken Riley slaying her mother and sister, or Mark and his mother, Malphine Fogel, rescued or brought back from Russia, or a Border Patrol agent, Roberto Ortiz, or Stephanie Diller, the surviving spouse of a slain New York City police officer. Those things carry emotional weight, not only in the moment, but probably inevitably in the pass-around social media dissection of this speech. I keep my eyes and ears tuned to emotional moments like that often jump over the instantaneous Beltway analysis.
Yes. And a 13-year-old DJ Daniel who had brain cancer, who the Democrats couldn't bring themselves to applaud. Now, CNN did a focus group of voters in Pennsylvania, key swing state. Let's listen to some of this.
I want to ask you guys, we have only about a minute, so I'm going to do another show of hands. What did we think about Trump blaming Biden for the high cost of eggs? Did we like it? Raise your hands.
Oh.
Nobody liked it. Nobody thought him.
I don't know much about it.
No.
I mean, I don't really have enough.
They killed 100 million
Right.
chickens so in 2024.
That was part of the response to avian flu.
But exactly, but that also is a reason why the prices went up.
Right.
You know, it's not that Trump did anything about that. And I mean, it was the bird flu. They had to call the chickens.
Right.
That's why the prices raised up. It wasn't Trump's fault. It wasn't because Biden had some crazy policy against, eggs and chickens.
That's an ordinary voter, a reasonable voter, and she's not wrong. And this is Donald Trump on eggs last night in his speech.
Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control. And we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration.
that's Trump on eggs. And by the way, I think the voter's right. There's not really a way to deal with when birds get avian flu. They cull the herds to try to prevent the spread. And as I understand it, it can't actually affect eggs. So you got to kill the chickens. And they killed 10 million chickens. So, of course, it jacked up the price of eggs. And the Democrats are rushing in ways to blame Donald Trump that they never were willing to blame Joe Biden for what he did to the economy. In fact, they still want you to believe the economy was good. One more from that CNN panel. This is one more of the panelists at the CNN group.
Enthusiastic in the entire group for Trump's speech. On a day where he installs 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, how did you feel about his message regarding the economy?
I thought it was very positive. I think what's happening now, we used to be a country that would just let everything happen. Okay, we'll do this. You know, you guys, Panama can have this. You know, I think now we're taking back things that should have never been given away. So I think doing those tariffs and everything, I think it's well overdone. I mean, it should have been done a long time ago.
Now, I would disagree with her on tariffs. And by the way, it looks like they're going to walk back the tariffs today. But, I mean, this is a actual human voter in Pennsylvania, not inside the Beltway, not someone who's up on the policies. And she liked the speech. In fact, overwhelmingly, this panel that CNN put together liked the panel. Only the hardcore Democrats didn't like the panel. Even the independents liked the speech. Not the panel, they liked the speech. It was a good speech and had great funny lines like the nobody knows where Lesotho is and this.
We also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism.
You know, he's not wrong. Greenland on a standard Mercatus map looks to be this massive island. It actually is a big island, but it's actually smaller than Australia, which is itself a continent. But Greenland stretches up into the Arctic Circle, where there are more and more clashes with the Russians and the Chinese, who view the Arctic as a logical expansion point. And not only do they view it as a logical expansion point, they view it as a quick way to route ships. And they're trying to claim more of the Arctic for their own. It is actually in our interest to beef up the military in Greenland, and Denmark is now having to bend over backwards to accommodate us because of that. And Greenland is a very sparsely populated island. The capital of Greenland actually does not have Nuuk. It doesn't have a ton of people. In fact, there are more tourists expected in the capital of Greenland this year than there are hotel rooms. They're doing a massive build as American tourists are intrigued to go see what Greenland is like and go do glacier excursions, things like that. They actually, a true story, there's a big story in the Wall Street Journal a couple of months ago. They've expanded the runway in Greenland's capital to handle bigger planes. The problem is that a single jumbo jet, we're not even talking a 380, we're talking a 787 or a 777, a Boeing, or even a Boeing 767. A Boeing 767, which is a large plane but not the biggest, if it lands fully loaded in Nuuk, Greenland, there are more people on that plane than there are hotel rooms in the capital of Greenland. They're doing a huge build there. American tourist dollars are flowing in. We're making those people rich one way or the other. Trump also took on the Panama Canal, which has been a big issue for him. It looks like BlackRock, the American company, is making or successfully bid on taking control of the Panama Canal.
We don't make them anymore very much. but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it. Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
I totally support repatriation of the Panama Canal for our national security, particularly considering the Chinese have a vested military interest in the Panama Canal right now that works against us. But listen, whether you like Donald Trump or not, and this is the problem for the Democrats, they hate him so much that they can't process that he might actually be popular with people. Donald Trump is popular right now. You can pick and choose your polling. Look at the polling averages. He's doing quite well right now. He's better than it was 4 years ago, for sure, when he was president, or 8 years ago when he was president. Better than Joe Biden. He did a speech that was more competent and capable than what Joe Biden did. He was firing on all cylinders last night. A roughly 80-year-old man able to stand on his feet for 2 hours and give us the longest speech ever to a joint session of Congress. And he made the Democrats look like fools. Made the Democrats look like fools. Al Green, at first I thought it was the Geico caveman. It was Al Green, the congressman from Florida, or from Texas. He evicted from the speech. An old, doddering old man with a cane yelling at Donald Trump, evicted. That was the resistance of the Democrats. It was all performance. Everything last night from the Democrats was meaningless performance that will solve nothing, change nothing, and stop nothing. And they don't even appreciate how out to lunch they actually are. We'll actually get into the Democrats' problems at the top of the next hour. Vision Computer would like to do business with you, folks. They can build you a laptop, they can build you a desktop, a PC, and then they can service it for you. They have thousands and thousands of five-star reviews. My family uses Vision Computer. They would love to partner with you. If you go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE, let them build a computer for you. If you've got an existing computer, they might just be able to upgrade it and save you even more money. And then you get their five-star service, where if you ever have a question, ever have a problem, ever need email help, ever need printer help, you call a special number in 15 seconds or less. They answer. They don't put you on hold. They don't call you back except with extremely high call volume. But they're going to give you the answer. You're not going to have to go into phone waiting hell where you sit there and press 5, press 3, press 2. They're just going to answer the phone. And they're going to take care of you. If you have a business and you need that level of tech support, they can do it for your whole company. And each of your employees will get that special number. They can call whenever they have a problem. And Vision can walk them through taking care of it. They help my now 16-year-old son. They've been helping him since he was 13 years old. They explain it in ways he could understand and help him with his computer and get him to fix his computer. And they could remote in and fix his computer for him when he needed to. We've seen this firsthand in our house. You can too. Call them at 404-COMPUTE anywhere nationwide. 404-COMPUTE. Talk to Vision Computers. Tell them I sent you. You'll save even more money. If you just want to check them out online, go to visioncomputers.com.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear. It's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1251, Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. A few big rigs off to the right in Kennesaw causing a tap of the brakes. 75 southbound approaching Barrett Parkway, exit 269, but no lanes blocked there. You do have the left lane blocked with construction. 400 southbound right where you ramp onto I-85 southbound. That's why you're seeing those delays as you leave Lenox Road out of Buckhead heading to Midtown. Traffic brought to you by A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical at the Fox Theater. A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical, tells the untold true story of America's greatest hitmaker at the Fox Theater, March 11th through 16th. Get tickets at BroadwayInAtlanta.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard, 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from My Roofer, FGA Roofing. You know, it's not uncommon to see 25-year roofs lasting only a dozen years or so. That's why roof maintenance is so important. Taking care of the things you can't see from the ground that are robbing years of service from your roof. FGA Roofing is now offering a subscription maintenance plan that'll go a long way towards making sure your roof will last as long as it's supposed to. Not only spotting problems when they're small, but professionally cleaning your roof and gutters, securing flashing, adding new pipe collars, and more, including an inspection report so you know exactly what's up there. Most all leaks are covered under your maintenance plan, whether FGA Roofing installed your roof or not. I've paid more to get my gutters cleaned in the past. For roughly what you pay monthly for streaming, you'll be adding years of good-looking service to your roof. And when it's time for a new roof, you're in line for a $1,000 discount as a preferred FGA Roofing maintenance customer. Just mentioned you heard about it from Scott Slade. Just search FGA Roofing to get started.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement. And it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. If you're in the business of business and you see opportunities for your business to grow and maybe your lender doesn't share your vision, First Liberty just might. They've been helping small businesses become big businesses since the 1990s. And the family that involves themselves with the Frost family, they're still involved. They want to be involved with your business so they can help. Reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com. If you need $250,000 or more for your business, reach out, firstlibertyga.com. See if the Frost family can help you. Tell them I sent you. Y'all, the Democrats do have real problems out there, but so do members of the media. They're all on the left. I want to play this audio for you. This is from Jeff Zeleny last night on CNN.
As well as the mother and sister of Laken Riley. Of course, she's the Georgia student who was murdered by an illegal immigrant, as well as several other people who have stories of crime and loss and whatnot.
An illegal, oh gosh, I meant to say undocumented. You could just, it was so obvious that he realized he didn't speak the proper woke lingo on NBC or on CNN. He didn't say undocumented. He said illegal alien, and it didn't work out for him. Now, Harold Lutnick is the Commerce Secretary. He's a big proponent of tariffs. Donald Trump bit yesterday on tariffs. Today, they're walking it back, saying they may walk back the tariffs. This is him. He was on CNBC.
But you have a new president, there's a new sheriff in town, and I would bet on the economic growth that is coming from Donald Trump. You see the investments, you see it already. There's trillions of dollars of manufacturing moving to America. It's moving to America. That means the cavalry is coming. For every $1 trillion that invests in the United States of America, that produces 1% of GDP growth. Imagine that. You have a president bringing GDP growth directly to his economy. That's amazing.
That was Bloomberg, by the way, not CNBC. But there you have it, the Commerce Secretary championing all the jobs coming into this country. He's attributing a number of them to tariffs, although last night, the day after the tariffs were implemented and the Dow dropped 2 days in a row like they did, he's starting to say that they may be walking back the tariffs. They may have gotten concessions from Canada and Mexico to realize that Donald Trump is really serious. The Chinese last night during the speech announced a 7.5% increase in their defense spending and also increased tariffs on the United States. Donald Trump is shaking up the world. When we come back, the Democrats need their own internal shakeup if they're going to try to figure out how to take on Donald Trump. They have no clue at all, and it's hilarious.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Authorities just outside of Denver, Colorado, making a shocking discovery when they find a child safe years after he was kidnapped from here in Atlanta.
It started as a call to 911 from a citizen who noticed a couple and 2 children enter a vacant home in Douglas County, Colorado. When police showed up and interviewed the suspects, their stories didn't match.
They worked tirelessly to verify the identities of everyone involved, leading to the realization that 14-year-old Abdul Aziz Khan had been abducted by his non-custodial mother, Rabia Khalid, back in 2017.
Sheriff Darren Weekly says Khalid had been in a dispute with Khan's father. The man and woman face a list of felony charges. Khan's case was featured on Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It's going to be cloudy and windy today. Afternoon high 62, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. After public pressure from Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock, the Trump administration is partially reinstating some CDC probationary workers. Warnock went to the Senate floor last month to defend the life-saving work that they do here at the CDC.
CDC is one of those entities that I think is
vastly underrated and underappreciated.
Warnock says today's announcement is welcome relief, but he says until all fired CDC employees are restored, our country's public health and national security will continue to be at risk. 4 Democratic mayors testifying today in front of Congress on sanctuary city laws and immigration-related matters. Republican Representative James Comer saying the so-called sanctuary city policies are making cities more dangerous. Mayors Michelle Wu of Boston, Brandon Johnson of Chicago, Mike Johnston of Denver, and Eric Adams of New York are appearing before the House Oversight Committee today. Here's Boston Mayor Michelle Wu.
This federal administration is making hardworking, tax-paying, God-fearing residents afraid to live their lives. A city that's scared is not a city that's safe.
Now, all 4 mayors say that the fear of deportation leads many immigrants to not come forward to report crimes or to use services such as health care or sending their children to school. Congresswoman Lucy McBath plans to run for governor of Georgia. She has now filed the paperwork to explore a run that she's launched. She has now launched an exploratory committee that will allow her to start raising campaign cash. It's 1:02.
Termites are silent destroyers. They could be eating your home right now, and you'd never know, unless your termite service thoroughly inspects inside your home with the best termite technology. Meteorologist Christina Epworth here for Breda Pest Management. When was the last time you actually saw your service inspect for termite damage? Let me guess, they just walked around outside and checked bait stations. If termites are eating your house, how would they know by just walking around your yard? Better get Breda. Only Breda uses advanced infrared cameras, microwave technology, and a moisture meter for early detection. So you can continue to pay more every year for your current service to just walk around outside, or switch your termite protection to Breda and your rate is locked in for 10 years. Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters like termites. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
You take it for granted, but it's the biggest piece of moving equipment in your home, your garage door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. When trust matters, like when your garage door doesn't open or needs to be replaced, trust us. Here's why. All Four Seasons is a local, family-owned company built over 25 years ago on honesty, customer service, and teamwork. If you've got garage door issues, trust us to repair or replace. We'll make it easy. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
As a trucker, I know how challenging these last 4 years have been. I'm Congressman Mike Collins, and I've been hitting the road listening to Georgians across my district. Please know that help is on the way, and follow along at collins.house.gov.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
Hey, this is Congressman Mike Collins. I'm fighting every day for America First policies in Washington, and I want to hear from you about how we can make our country better. Reach out at collins.house.gov and let me know.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we believe in kinder banking. That means speaking to a real person, a state-of-the-art website and mobile app, and kinder banking means offering our members the most competitive rates in the market. This is Andy Harris. Come see us at Coosa Valley Credit Union.
Have you noticed water, mold, or rot in your crawl space? How about sagging floors over your crawl space? There's a good chance your crawl space has issues. The experts at AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can help. Visit aquaguard.net for your free inspection now. Remember, AquaGuard.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Still watching the brake lights out of Buckhead heading toward Midtown with that left lane construction on the 400 southbound ramp to 85 southbound. Picked up a crash into Cobb County. It's knocking out a couple of right lanes on Claremont Road northbound right under I-85, so you're slow back before Briarcliff.
Keep you updated on the weather. Cloudy skies, 55 degrees in Canton. It's 56 degrees with mostly cloudy skies in Duluth. Mableton, you have 55 degrees and cloudy skies right now. And here in Midtown Atlanta, we have clouds and 56 degrees on Peachtree Street. More news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Greetings Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. I am delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be a part of the program, would love to have you with me. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get all the links to the show, the live stream, the podcast, the social media links. Now, I want to turn my attention to the Democrats. We may push this video out on Substack, and so I need you here at the beginning of this monologue to hear a caveat. I do not want you to angrily complain that I am helping the Democrats, because I know and you know they're not listening to any advice. But I, as someone who has run political campaigns around the country at the federal, state, and local level quite successfully, and knows how to conduct and read polling and research group data, can accurately diagnose the problem with the Democratic Party. And it was on display for all to see last night, not just at the quasi-State of the Union address, but in the aftermath with Senator Lee Slotkin from Michigan. And it began with the Geico caveman getting expelled from the floor, or dragged out of the floor, rather, Congressman Al Green, by the Speaker of the House, and under orders of the Speaker of the House. It was a discombobulation as the president began to speak, and Al Green just stood angrily yelling at the president, shaking his cane, a doddering old fool that he is.
Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
There he is. He's standing, he's yelling, he's angry.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
The Democrats sit stoically in their chairs, not making eye contact even with each other, as Al Green continues to storm, waving his cane in the air, yelling at the president, defiant.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order.
Green got booted, and that was the best the Democrats could do. This is Rachel Bade from the government-subsidized Politico.
My primary takeaway was that Democrats stole the show, but not necessarily in a good way for the party. Look, I think there's a reason that Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told his members yesterday to be on their best behavior, not to be protesting, not to draw attention away, and they didn't listen. They made themselves the story. They heckled, they had signs, they walked out.
That's Rachel Bade, the of Politico, and this is left-wing. Can you call him a comedian? Because he stopped being funny a long time ago. Stephen Colbert, after the speech.
Elected billionaires have just begun. Elon, take a bow, Elon. You paid for it. No, he paid for it. The man barked out one appalling claim after another, but don't you worry. The Democrats came ready to fight back with their little paddles, okay? That is how you save democracy, by quietly dissenting. Or bidding on an antique tea set. It was hard to tell what was going on. I'm just kidding. That was very cool, Democrats. In fact, I made my own sign.
I mean, this is the problem for the Democrats. They're in a bubble. And in their bubble, They are virtuous, they are heroic, they are brave, they are kind, they are caring, they are competent. And in their bubble, it is the Republicans who are mean, nasty, bigoted, threat to democracy, Nazis, who probably generate green chat bubbles in their text messages like my call screener. They view themselves as the heroes of the story. They view themselves as the righteous ones. They don't even just view themselves as the righteous ones. They view themselves as, in their phrasing, the most smug phrase you can possibly utter. They view themselves as on the right side of history. You're not on the right side of history. You're on the wrong side of the American public. Donald Trump won the popular vote. He's still popular in most, not all, but most polling right now in polling averages. Donald Trump still has about a 50% approval rating, and Democrats have a 20% approval rating. And last night in Donald Trump's speech, he staked out a bunch of positions that have 80% support, and Democrats were on the wrong side of every last one of them. Boys and girls sports, Democrats are on the unpopular side. Securing the border, Democrats are on the unpopular side. Making cities safer, Democrats are on the unpopular side. Rounding up illegal immigrants and deporting them, Democrats are on the unpopular side. Time and time again, the Democrats are on the unpopular side. And it got to the point last night where Donald Trump had a bunch of people in the gallery with heroic stories. He had the guy released from Russia and his family there. The Democrats would not clap for a man that Joe Biden couldn't get out of the gulag. Donald Trump had Laken Riley's mother and sister there. The Democrats could not be kind to her. Donald Trump had a young lady there who had been injured by a dude pretending to be a woman playing volleyball, left with some temporary and other permanent damage. The Democrats couldn't be kind to her. And worst of all, Donald Trump had DJ Daniels there. DJ Daniels is a 13-year-old kid who wants to be a police officer, who's been battling brain cancer. Donald Trump not only had him there in his police uniform, where he was, last year there was a viral clip of him being ruthlessly picked on by others for wearing his police uniform. That was actually his police uniform, given to him as an honorary member of his local police department. Last night, Donald Trump made the kid an honorary member of the Secret Service, and the Democrats sat on their hands instead of cheering on the heroic story of a 13-year-old battling brain cancer. They couldn't bring themselves to embrace normalcy and kindness, all while virtue signaling to themselves that they are the kind and righteous ones. It actually led to a Rachel Maddow meltdown on TV last night over this particular kid. I was kind of shocked, but she's wearing funeral black as she covers the speech. Listen to Rachel Maddow.
For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that. This was in the midst of him praising Doge. The Doge cuts, among other things, have cut off funding for ongoing research into pediatric cancer.
Indeed, you better believe it.
Now, likewise, you will recall that at the end of last year, it was Republicans and Democrats in Congress moving to extend the government that canceled funding for a pediatric childhood cancer research fund. And it got to the Senate, and the Senate saved it. That is legislated funding by Congress that Doge can't touch and has not touched. Doge has certainly paused or frozen some grants to research some cancers, but it doesn't mean they are permanently killed. I had some anti-Trump described independent conservative tell me how cruel it was. How cruel it was. You know what's cruel? You know what's cruel? Curing cancer in a kid like DJ Daniel and then saying, guess what? Now your country's bankrupt and you're going to be a third world and impoverished. That's cruel. I used the analogy yesterday. I've used it before. I'm going to say it one more time. When a plane loses pressure, they tell you put your mask on first before you put the mask on anyone else. Because if you're struggling to put the mask on a person who's not capable of putting the mask on themselves, you're going to get the mask on them and then you're going to black out and die. If they can't put a mask on themselves, they're not going to be able to put the mask on you. If you want to actually save people's lives, you put your mask on first, and then you help the other people. And they may be passed out by the time you turn to help them, but when you put the oxygen mask on them, they're going to start to revive. They're still breathing. Their breathing is slowing as they head to respiratory distress, as the plane has lost air pressure. But they're going to revive. You're going to live, and they're going to live. If you put the mask on the person who can't do it for themselves, you're going to die. If the United States does not take care of its fiscal house first, it can't take care of the kids with cancer. If the United States does not restrain its spending, it can't help the kid with cancer because it's going to be bankrupt. You could come and say, it's so cruel. It's cruel to stop funding cancer research. You know what's worse is not being able to fund anything. Every line item in the budget has a constituency. But if you don't understand, we can't fund any of those line items if we go broke. And then you're going to be upset, oh, we can't fund it, we can't fund this, we can't fund that. And Democrats are on the wrong side of all of it. They can dress in pink and they can hold their little signs that say false. Donald Trump would say true things last night. They'd hold up the sign that said false. They're on the wrong side of everybody. They're attacking a kid with brain cancer because he's a young black boy who supports Donald Trump. A race traitor, this kid is to the Democrats. Donald Trump, a man they claim is a sexual predator, was on the side of women last night. The Democrats were on the side of insane men. Donald Trump last night was on the side of securing the border. The Democrats were on the side of the illegal aliens. Donald Trump last night was on the side of the American people, and the Democrats were on the side of the fringe. I think MSNBC is a dangerous poison to the Democrats because they get their news from MSNBC and to some degree portions of CNN, but mostly MSNBC and the New York Times, where reliably partisan progressives regurgitate to Democrats the things they believe are true, the things they believe are real, the things they believe are reality, and they're out of touch with the American people. The Democrats like to say they're reality-based, and as their minds have engaged in epistemic closure, reality has moved beyond them. The Democrats like to say the facts are on their side, and as their minds have engaged in epistemic closure, the facts have moved beyond them. So the Democrats no longer live in reality surrounded by facts. They live in an alternative reality, echoed and distorted by MSNBC that they think is right. And meanwhile, where did it end up for the Democrats? Last night, they couldn't cheer a kid with brain cancer. They couldn't cheer parents who lost their daughter to illegal aliens. They couldn't cheer a mother and children whose son died because a stray bullet meant for Donald Trump hit him instead. They couldn't cheer a girl who had been injured by a trans athlete. They couldn't cheer a family whose son had returned home from a Russian gulag. They couldn't cheer Americans who lived lives that the Democrats thought were theirs to take credit for, and instead it was Donald Trump being able to take credit for him. So the Democrats couldn't bring themselves to be nice. They couldn't bring themselves to be kind. They couldn't bring themselves to cheer. The Democrats can dress in pink or black, or they can get their old angry men to shake canes in the air and yell, and all it tells the American public is we were right to reject these people who only represent the 20% of insane people in this country, while Donald Trump himself embraces American reality.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Time in the Cool Ray Carrier is Cool Ray Carrier Sunday is 1:20 p.m. Construction at 400 southbound ramp in the I-85 southbound is blocking the left lane. Crash at Claremont Road northbound at I-85 is blocking 2 right lanes at the underpass. And on the east side, we have construction at I-20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel is slowing in the right lane. Jay Holloway, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia announces his resignation.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Some brake lights out of Cobb County, I-20 eastbound.
We've got it covered.
The U.S. Surgeon General is warning about a link between alcohol and cancer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever.
Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful. When it comes to your home, quality is crucial. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. Quality comes first. We have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit scottantiquemarket.com for more information.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
News. Runway was dry and there wasn't any crosswind at the time of the crash.
Weather.
High winds from the tornado damage.
Traffic.
I-75 completely shut.
Everything you need to know before you start your day.
WSB recall
Atlanta's
alert.
morning news tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day. Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
All the information without the spin. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. You want to be on the program if you text DATA, D-A-T-A, to 33777. Get a 20% discount on the show notes. You get everything that we are sending out as the show starts. Now, I gotta play you this audio. Last night on CNN, Jake Tapper was talking about the problems the Democrats are having. This is what he said.
It is, I have to say, you can really sense, John King, you can really sense Republicans with a pep in their step and Democrats rather demoralized. I mean, understandably so, given the fact that Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, not to mention a conservative lean on the U.S. Supreme Court. But beyond that, even when Republicans are out of power, you sense like an energy quite often when Democrats are controlling things. The Democrats, not to be cliche about it, but they are in disarray. They do not know how to be the opposition force.
Because Democrats have defined themselves by political power, and they don't have it right now, so they don't know what to do. In all honesty, I want to give Democrats some advice. I want to give Democrats advice, and you're not going to like it. Philippians 2:3, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of others. Romans 12:3, for by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourselves more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment in accordance with the faith God has distributed each of you. Democrats, you guys are convinced you're on the right side of history. You say this to yourselves. You think the arc of history bends in your direction. You think the Republicans are threats to democracy, and yet the voters just rejected you. Donald Trump just won the popular vote, and Republicans in Congress won the popular vote. And you are convinced that, well, the voters were fooled, the voters were stupid, the voters were duped, the voters are dumb, the voters are bad. It's not you, it's them. Exercise some humility and say the voters don't like us. And it's not your base that doesn't like you because you won't fight everything. It's the American people as a whole you find yourself against. They've chosen Donald Trump. Maybe exercise some humility and stop making everything about your control of power, and maybe understand that you let the public down. Be humble, and maybe you can begin to rebuild. Maybe. Now, Old Glory Bank is run by a bunch of guys who are actually very humble. They understand that you don't need them. You have plenty of other opportunities. They would love to have your business, though. And the thing that they do is they tell you, if you're conservative, you're not going to have to worry about being debanked. It's a big trend right now. Mike Ring, the CEO, is a friend of mine. He's been testifying before Congress about debanking trends, and his commitment for his bank, Old Glory Bank, is you're not going to be debanked. Because Old Glory Bank is by conservatives for conservatives. They have seen how bullies, for example, have bullied people bullied banks into shutting down accounts. It's why they're bypassing Wall Street from Main Street to raise capital for the bank. You can buy stock in Old Glory Bank. It is transferable stock that you own. You can go to own.oldglorybank.com. If you want to be an investor in Old Glory Bank, you can too. Own.oldglorybank.com. Stock is not FDIC insured. Stock can go up and down. Talk to an investment advisor if you have any questions.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Well, he was abducted here in Atlanta 7 years ago. Now the 14-year-old has been found safe in Colorado. Abdul Aziz Khan found with his non-custodial mother and her husband just outside of Denver. Douglas County, Colorado Sheriff Darren Weekly says the break in the case came from a citizen.
It was a quick thinking of a vigilant member of our community, a homeowner monitoring their security cameras for a house that he had for sale, and he noticed some suspicious activity and immediately called the sheriff's office.
Aziz and another child taken into protective custody by authorities. His disappearance went viral after it was documented in Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries series. Your weather for today, cloudy and breezy. A stray shower is possible. Highs around 62, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The IRS is getting ready to cut as much as half of its workforce, according to multiple reports. It's part of the Trump administration's efforts to cut down on federal workers. The IRS has around 100,000 employees and has not yet finalized the exact amount that it will let go. The agency will submit its plans to the White House in the coming weeks. Make sure that your driver's license has a little star up in the right corner. Starting on May 7th, anybody 18 or older with a passport, they'll have to have a passport or what's known as a real ID to board a domestic flight. According to TSA, about 78% of people who fly currently have a real ID. It's also needed to enter certain secure federal facilities. And are you up to date on all your health screenings? Some cancer screenings have rebounded since the pandemic. The study from the American Cancer Society, published in JAMA Medical Journal, looked at data through 2023. The lead author was Jessica Starr.
We saw increases and rebounds in both breast and colorectal cancer screening after the COVID-19 pandemic.
She says the increase was not seen, though, for cervical cancer screenings. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's up 211 at 42,731. So the Dow is up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 0.5%, and the S&P's not far behind. It's 132.
It's Eric Erickson here. Every single day now, I deal with a malicious request to click a link. My daughter the other day got a text message some of you have probably gotten. Click on it and pay your toll, and it's just a scam. All these things keep happening. They're preying upon the young, senior citizens, and you and me. But there's good news. Vision Computer is here to help you. If you have their managed service, you're never alone, and in just 15 seconds, expert tech support is at your fingertips, ready to protect you from online threats, scams, and computer problems. And you don't have to take my word for it. We're a Vision Computer household, but they've got thousands of 5-star reviews beyond my household reviews, but I'd give them 5 stars too. They've got thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews because they're simply the best. Call them at 404-COMPUTE today or visit them online at visioncomputers.com, because when it comes to your security, you can't afford to wait. Vision will take care of you. Tell them I sent you. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Termites could be eating your home right now, and you never know. Christina Edwards here for Breda Pest Management. When was the last time you actually saw your service inspect for termite damage? Let me guess, they just walked around the outside and checked the bait stations. Better get Breda. They use advanced infrared cameras and microwave technology for early detection. Switch to Breda, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Seeing some brake lights out of Marietta into Kennesaw. 75 northbound starting to get slow from North Marietta Parkway as you make your way up to Chastain Road exit 271. Some southbound delays as well as you travel through Kennesaw. If you're traveling out of Buckhead into Midtown, still got the left lane construction. 400 southbound on the ramp to I-85 southbound. And some better news in DeKalb County. That crash just cleared. All lanes open on Claremont Road and northbound right under I-85. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Cloudy skies, breezy, a stray shower possible, high 62 this afternoon, overnight lows 34. We'll have more news at 2 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you. Before I get to, well, the Democrats and the economy, I want to take Jim's phone call. Calling from Palm Coast, Florida. Jim, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, hi. Good afternoon, Eric. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
Well, thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I wanted to continue here with the Democratic response, and it's just astonishing, but it's true that the Democrats are the most self-centered, and I would say off-centered people in our country. They could not even applaud two announcements last night by the president addressing their own security in this country. And what I'm referring to is the announcement by the president that the enrollments for our military services are at historic high levels.
Right.
In addition to that, Eric, the announcement was made that it will be a federal penalty, a death penalty for those that kill officers, police officers.
Yeah, so Jim, I'm glad you raised those two issues because, I want to play that clip, this one right here of the president talking about the military recruitment, because it is actually a huge deal. Here's the data, just so you understand the data. I'm not making up the data. The data is documented and surveyed. When a Democrat is president, a majority of veterans who identify as liberal or progressive encourage their children to join the military. A majority of veterans who identify as conservative or Republicans encourage their kids to join the military. It's less than the Democrats, but it's still a majority of them. When a Republican is president, only about a third of self-identified Democrats or progressives who are veterans tell their kids to join the military, and upwards of 70% of conservative Republican veterans do. Republicans and conservative veterans, a majority of them, regardless of who the president is, says join the military to their kids. It depends on the party of the president whether a majority of Democrats say that or not. That's kind of a big deal. It is something that the Democrats should concern themselves about. But under Joe Biden, the situation with conservatives actually deteriorated, where it was only about 52% support their kids joining the military because the military's gone woke. I mean, the DEI requirements, the diversity hiring policies that Obama and Biden both had in effect in the military have been something. And in fact, we saw a decline in people wanting to join the military. This is Trump last night.
Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations. And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference.
That's fantastic news for the military. You know, the Joint Chiefs who come and sit, they don't react. And they were all smiling and nodding last night when he said that line. There's some breaking news I got to get to. It's happening right now. President Trump's press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, has just announced the president will do a 1-month reprieve on tariff for automobiles that come to the United States through USMCA countries. That's the revised NAFTA agreement. So automakers that have parts made in Mexico and China will get a 1-month exemption from tariffs, according to President Trump's press secretary. This is breaking news happening now. The tariffs will not apply to automobiles. Last night, Donald Trump said he wants to deduct the car payments if the cars are made in the United States of America. Now, I know that sounds popular, but that's actually a bad idea. It actually is a bad idea. Let me explain this one to you. I don't mean to disagree with the president on this, but let me just explain to you, because you agreed with this when Biden was doing subsidies. It's the same thing. If Donald Trump says you can deduct a car payment or at least the interest on a car payment. You know what's going to happen? Cars are going to become more expensive because it's called subsidy capture. The auto manufacturers will raise the price of their car to capture the government subsidy. So by deducting interest on a vehicle or an entire payment on a vehicle, you're going to raise the price of the vehicle. It's a basic rule of economics. It's called subsidy capture. And there's not really a way around it. The prices will seem to rise naturally by all the auto manufacturers, but what they'll actually be doing is they'll be capturing the subsidy. It's a very, very, very difficult thing to try to work around. So I would say that's not a good idea. I don't know that it's very workable. It shouldn't be considered workable. And I think it's probably something that the president needs to move on from and abandon. That being said, I want to play you Steve Ratner. Steve Ratner was on MSNBC. And again, I think this is a problem. The distortions that come from MSNBC. This is Ratner on with Morning Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Obviously, Trump contorts the facts to fit his narrative, but he did that with abandon last night. He did inherit an extraordinarily strong economy from Joe Biden. Obviously, we had COVID. Obviously, that wasn't good. We suffered some inflation. So did all of our trading partners. Our inflation was no worse than theirs. It has come down sharply. And now Trump is applying a set of kind of incoherent policies to the situation that, in my opinion anyway, are more likely to make things worse.
Okay. You know, the economy wasn't actually good when Joe Biden was president. But the Democrats insist it to be so. The Democrats insist the economy was fine when Joe Biden was president. We have the Atlanta Fed data now. And the Atlanta Fed data shows that the first quarter economic growth was actually on decline. And you back up into last year, and it slowed dramatically. And in fact, we had, what's his name? The new Treasury Secretary, Scott, what's his name? I'm sorry, Scott, what's his name? Bessent, Scott Bessent, thank you. Scott Bessent said, you know, when you actually look at the data for the last year, the economy was not growing. The economy was in recession in the private sector. The government was growing, and the healthcare sector was growing. The rest of the private sector was actually in decline. But the growth of government and the healthcare sector, because of an aging population, offset the private sector. So it looked like everything was good, and that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. The Democrats, though, continue to tell themselves this. Now, I am old enough to remember when the Democrats insisted that people's lived experience was the most important thing. Their lived experience is what matters. Their lived experience needed to outweigh facts. Their lived experience needed to outweigh the data. Their lived experience was an anecdote, but that anecdote was their data, their truth, and you must embrace it. And people's lived experience in the last 4 years is the economy was not good. Their lived experience was groceries were too high. Their lived experience was gas prices were too high. Their lived experience was rent was too high. Their lived experience was insurance is too high. Their lived experience is that auto insurance is too high. Their lived experience is that used car prices are too high. Their lived experience was that it was expensive to live and their wages were not going up with inflation. But the Democrats said, oh, no. The data in Washington, D.C. says you're wrong. You just watch Fox News and you listen to conservative talk radio and you're being brainwashed. You're being lied to. But you weren't. You weren't being lied to. You knew the truth. You've known the truth the whole time. And the truth the whole time has been the economy wasn't good. Your wages were not keeping up with inflation. And yet the lecturing tone of these people on MSNBC. This goes back to the problem with the Democrats is they get so much of their news and information from MSNBC, and MSNBC tells them that their world is fine. MSNBC tells them they're on the right side of history. MSNBC tells them that the Democrats' economy is good, the Republicans' economy is bad. The Democrats tell them that it's a scam when Donald Trump, it's disgusting when Donald Trump has a young man with cancer there at his event. They're kind of broken. And yet the Democrats live in this bubble. The other day I was talking about this group of moderate Democrats, and one of the things they said is that Democrats need to get out into the real world. They need to go to churches, gun shows. They need to go to tailgates. They need to go to the SEC. They need to go to Oxford, Mississippi. They need to go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go enjoy a tailgate. Have a cold beer and some jambalaya. They should. They need to go to real churches where the gospel is preached. They need to hear the name of Jesus Christ proclaimed in a church that's not tied to a political agenda, but actually a saving, salvific message for eternity. They need to hear it. They need to be in a church that believes that men need to be pastors, not women, that believes that the Bible is the inerrant word of God. They need to be in that church. And see, those people aren't weird. Those people aren't oddities. They're actually vital members of the community that Democrats regularly defame. They need to go to a gun show at a local civic center and actually try to buy a gun and realize it ain't as easy as they think it is. They need to find a good old boy whose name is Sonny Bubba Junebug Johnson. Everybody calls him Junebug. His mama named him Sonny Bubba, to quote the late Louis Grizzard. And they need to let Sonny Bubba Junebug Johnson take them to a gun range and then out for a beer afterwards. They need to experience real America. They need to go to a barbecue joint that has sawdust on the ground, authentic, not the pretend stuff where you go to some fancy restaurants and they throw the peanut shells on the ground so it makes it look like we're going to Redneckville. No, you need to go to Redneckville. You need to go to Redneckville where the white people, the black people, they all sit there together having conversations in an accent you can't understand because you're a Yankee and you don't know what it is, where they're eating boiled peanuts out of a common bowl. And you need to realize racism is overstated by a bunch of progressive white academics. Most people don't talk politics at the dinner table, and most people love their neighbor. They don't despise them if they have the wrong virtue signaling sign in the yard. And you need to hear about how the economy sucks for these people, how they're struggling to make ends meet. You know what the data also says? What the same data that says the economy wasn't actually that good also says that the people most affected by the bad economy lived away from the coasts. They weren't in New York and D.C. They weren't in Los Angeles and San Francisco. They were in Des Moines. They were in Woodstock, Georgia, and Macon, Georgia. They were in Learned, Mississippi. They were in Alexandria, Louisiana. They were in Springfield, Ohio, where the Haitians took up shop and took all the jobs. The Democrats don't like to go visit those people. They don't like to go to those places. It's too far on a plane, too expensive on a private jet to get there. The Democrats would prefer to just get their news from MSNBC, that where the reporters, maybe they stand in front of a green screen and claim they're in Dubuque when they're actually down the street in Brooklyn. The Democrats, they're not going to recover until they actually realize they made people's lives miserable under Joe Biden, and they tried to cover up his frailties. They engaged in a conspiracy, and they do not wish to hold themselves accountable. Americans for Prosperity is helping hold the Democrats accountable and helping advance Donald Trump's agenda. On tax cuts, AFP would love to have you engaged. All you have to do is go to protectprosperity.com. There's a button on the website where you can take action and engage with Americans for Prosperity to advance freedom in this country. Americans for Prosperity is committed to freedom in this country. They are committed to the advance of common sense conservative reforms, and they are committed to getting you involved in the process, educated, motivated, and activated as need be to advance freedom. Right now, they want you engaged with members of Congress on Donald Trump's tax cuts. They want to advance the common sense conservative agenda. They'd love to have you on board. Go to protectprosperity.com today. Sign up with AFP at protectprosperity.com, protectprosperity.com. Engage with AFP, the largest leading grassroots organization in America. They just so happen to be on our side.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
151 in the Coolray Carrier 24-hour traffic center. Yeah, construction still at 400 southbound ramp in the I-85 south and it's blocking the left lane. Delays on 90-85 northbound through Oakwood due to construction in the right lane past Highway 13, exit 17. Road work on the east side still on I-20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel, exit 68 is slowing in the right lane. Jay Holloway, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next.
Sense of humor.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
The driver of this vehicle is a better human being than you are.
He's Eric Von Hessler.
I'm here to tell you the truth.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter here for my good friends at PalmettoSleep.com. Let's talk about a serious business, sleep apnea. I suffer from it, and whether you've been diagnosed with it or afraid you have it, I have the solution. Palmetto Sleep is here to give you your life back. They make it easy to get help for sleep apnea because living without a good night's sleep is simply no way to live. Palmetto Sleep offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that opens your airway so you naturally breathe the way nature intended. The best part is they offer virtual consultations and in-home sleep testing. No overnight stays at a sleep center. Plus, Palmetto Sleep has all the doctors that you will need. Most appointments are virtual, and it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Don't suffer from another sleepless night or daytime fatigue like I do. Visit PalmettoSleep.com now. Visit PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man. High five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Woo, up top, bike shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messethorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo.
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello and welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. I got to play you this clip. The Attorney General, the new Attorney General for the state of Florida, my buddy James Uthmeyer, is, mounting a case against Andrew and Tristan Tate.
Yeah, look, these guys have themselves publicly admitted to participating in what very much appears to be soliciting, trafficking, preying upon women around the world. Many of these victims coming forward, some of them minors, people can spin or defend however they want. But in Florida, this type of behavior is viewed as atrocious. We're not going to accept it. They chose to come here and set their feet down in this state, and we're going to pursue every tool we have within our legal authority to hold them accountable. So we are in the process today. We have secured and executed subpoenas and warrants, and we're going to continue to move forward with full force of law. This is an ongoing criminal investigation, and we're going to use every tool we have to ensure that justice is served.
Do you open a criminal investigation?
There is an active criminal investigation, yes.
Do you believe that can you give me any details of what?
I can't comment on a pending investigation, but what I can tell you is if these guys did criminal activity here in Florida, we will go after them with the full force of law and hold them accountable.
Interestingly enough, one of the, I guess it was Andrew Tate, Candace Owens, of course, likes them or something. He admitted he swipes his phone clean every day if they want to do an investigation. Byron Donalds, now one of the Republicans running for governor in Florida, was on with Major Garrett on CBS, asked him about this issue.
The current Attorney General of Florida has announced he's opened a criminal investigation against Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan because in Romania, where they just came to Florida from, there were charges of rape, sex with minor, and trafficking, human trafficking. Do you support the Attorney General's actions here?
I do. I think those allegations have to be fully investigated, and then we go from there. The key thing is we don't tolerate the trafficking of women or, frankly, the abuse of women. We do not tolerate that. So if the Attorney General finds cause under Florida law to investigate that, then I wish him the best, and I support whatever he's going to do on that matter.
There is a very hyper online group of people on the right who like the Tate brothers, who are admitted pornographers, admitted to abuse of women, and these guys on the right have elevated their platform. They're about to realize they're on the wrong side of everybody here. Candace Owens and the like could, for the new Attorney General down in Florida, bring an investigation of these guys, send them back to Romania. They do not need to be here. People who are upset about Epstein should be upset about the Tate brothers.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. A 7-year mystery is solved. Authorities in Colorado find a child safe after he was allegedly abducted by his mother in Atlanta.
The break in Abdul Aziz Khan's disappearance comes when a homeowner sees a couple entering his vacant home just outside of Denver. When police show up, they find the woman's actually Khan's mother, who's been on the run since 2017. Douglas County, Colorado Sheriff Darren Weekly says they're now working to reunite Khan with his father.
I had the privilege of meeting with the family in my office yesterday, and what I will tell you is they're
There wasn't a dry eye in the room.
The two face a list of charges. Khan's case went viral after it was featured on Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries series. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
57 degrees in Atlanta, breezy today before the sun returns tomorrow. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Two men in Walton County are accused of distributing child porn. The GBI's Child Exploitation and Computer Crimes Unit made the arrests in two separate investigations. 26-year-old William Grady Scott of Loganville is accused of distributing child sex abuse material over the internet using a messaging platform. 18-year-old Samuel Berkovich of Monroe is accused of doing the same over social media. Both men are now charged with 3 counts of sexual exploitation of children. Some fired CDC workers are getting their jobs back after public pressure from Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock. He went to the Senate floor last month to defend the life-saving work they do at the Atlanta-based CDC.
Where in the world would we be without the CDC?
Warnock says today's announcement is welcome relief, but he says until all fired CDC employees are restored, our country's public health and national security will continue to be at risk. Georgia Tech breaks ground on its first new traditional dorm in nearly 50 years. The Curran Street Residence Hall will be used by first-year students when it opens in the fall of 2026.
It's about a long-term plan that we have for housing to be able to bring more students onto campus and allow them to have access to that education.
University's Jen Cotton says the 8-story building will have room for more than 850 students. She says it should help expand the size of Tech's first-year class. New research shows a troubling connection between sports betting and drinking. The study published in JAMA Psychiatry finds the more a person gambles, the more likely they are to develop alcohol-related problems over time. When sports betting frequency goes down, the opposite is true. It is now 2:02, and this news is sponsored by Bread Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Dave Baker here for Artisan Custom Closets. Spring cleaning? Not a fan. However, ever since I had Artisan Custom Closets help me redesign my bedroom closet, spring cleaning has gotten a whole lot easier. See, Artisan helped me to design an affordable, luxurious closet system tailored to my needs. Every project they do is installed by an Artisan professional, generally in under a day. Schedule your free design consultation with the master designer at artisancustomclosets.com. P.S. They did my garage too. I love it.
This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. A few years back, there was a surge of online mattress companies offering a one-feel-fits-all mattress. Eventually, they all added more selections. Why? They discovered what we've known for over 30 years. Everyone has unique preferences. At the Original Mattress Factory, we handled a range of comfort choices so that you can select the one that suits you best. Don't rely on someone else's opinion. Try out a variety of options and find the one that's right for you. OriginalMattress.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
It is 2:05 and time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Starting to see some of that afternoon volume picking up through the downtown area, Bill. 75-85. It's sluggish from 17th Street as you make the ride down to I-20. Northbound on and off the brakes from University Avenue up past Peachtree, Pine Street. 400 southbound. That construction zone still is in the left lane. 400 southbound ramping to I-85 southbound. Those delays start back just south of Lennox Road as you come through the Financial Center tunnels. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy and breezy today, high 62, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. An isolated light rain shower possible this afternoon into this evening. Clearing out tonight, temperatures falling to the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 55.
Looking ahead to the weekend, cloudy skies, just a few rain showers possible with highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. Right now, 57 in Stone Mountain, 55 in Kennesaw, 56 in Hapeville. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be absolutely delighted to have you with me. I want to pause from the raw politics for a moment and get into some other stuff. Don't forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. If you're on the phone, stand by. I'll get to you. Let's move on here to non-politics for a moment. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday. I want to dive a little deeper into this because I think we could probably all use a reset. I know I can, and some of you are actively thinking about this topic today, particularly those of you who are my Lutheran Catholic audience here. Today is the first day of Lent. Yesterday was Mardi Gras, big blowout in New Orleans last night. I did make a few king cakes this season. I am from Louisiana, and now we are in Lent. What is Lent? A lot of people talking about it today. What is Lent? Christianity began in a backwater region of the planet in Judea. It was a Roman province. The people of Israel had built it up. They had gone into exile by the Babylonians. They had returned. Over time, various conquerors took the territory. The Romans ultimately took it by the time of Jesus. And Christianity began to spread. The more the Romans tried to stamp it out, it was very much like kudzu, or prune plant. The more they tried to prune it, the stronger it got. And the Romans became more and more ruthless in their persecutions and ultimately decided the way to stamp out Christianity was to eliminate the entire bloodline of David. And the genealogies, you know, if you read Scripture, for example, or read any ancient work, read any historic ancient work, names and genealogies are very important, tying people together in communities. So-and-so, the son of so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, the son of so-and-so. It wasn't hard for the Romans to track down Jesus' family. He was the descendant of David, and they wiped out his whole family. His brother John had been killed early on, but his brother Jude had remained, and he was killed. His grandchildren and children were all killed by Trajan. They had survived. Ironically, Jude and his family survived Nero, and it was Trajan who executed them. The early Christians knew that people needed to know what they were getting into if they were going to be exterminated by the Romans, potentially persecuted at least by the Romans. And so the death of Christ was very important, the death and resurrection of Christ. I mean, Christianity would not exist but for the resurrection that billions of people, literally billions of people to this day, believe actually happened. Whether you do or not, multiple billions of people believe that it was real, and it is the premise of Christianity. You can't have Christianity without a resurrected Lord, a physically resurrected God. And what they decided to do was 40 days before Easter, to celebrate the resurrection, they would begin to teach people in depth about the faith. See, Christmas wasn't a thing. Birthdays were celebrated by pagans. But the early Christians celebrated Resurrection Day, the rebirth of Christ. And they early on wanted to figure out when that was, and they actually thought it around the time, 100 AD or so, that they pinned the time at about March 17th or so, I think. No, March 25th. March 25th was when they put their finger on it. And because it was time to Passover, very early church tradition began to rotate the date of Easter based on Passover and based on the lunar calendar premised from the vernal equinox or whatever, how they calculate it. But for 40 days before Easter, the potential converts, the people who were really serious about converting, they would intensely for 40 days pray and fast and learn about the faith, knowing that if you decide you really believe this is real and you get baptized, you might be persecuted, if not killed, by the Romans. They wanted people to take it seriously, way more seriously than people today want you to take it seriously. Back then, it was a matter of life and death. If you converted, you could be fed to the lions. Your body could be used as a lamppost to light the streets of Rome. While you were alive, they'd burn you alive to light the streets of Rome. That's what Nero did. And on Easter Sunday, you would be baptized, you and your whole family. Well, it became a big deal. But then something happened. The Roman Empire converted. Constantine became the emperor. What do? Everybody became a Christian overnight. I mean, people actually, there are writings of the Christians who had been persecuted who lamented that the persecutors became Christians overnight. See, it wasn't actually an authentic conversion. It was about access to power. And if you wanted to get to Constantine, you had to be a Christian. Constantine moved the capital from Rome to what? Constantinople. Nobody knows about the Turks. Constantinople. And if you wanted to get into the throne room and you wanted to see Constantine, you had to be a professing Christian. So literally the men who had persecuted the Christians and killed them overnight converted to Christianity. Miracle of miracles. Because it was about power for them. And the early church fathers, after the conversion, Athanasius and other, Athanasius, he's my soulmate. He's my spirit animal. Athanasius contra mundum, Athanasius against the world. Athanasius and others complained about this. And thus began a tradition where 40 days before Easter, you would give something up. Monasticism was on the rise. See, when everybody could become a Christian, it was easy. The monastics moved off into the wilderness, Athanasius himself into a cave at one point, it seems, and others would go out into the wild, and they would give things up to show that they were depriving themselves. Christianity was now a soft religion. There was no longer persecution. There was a softness, and they would go into the wilderness, they would go into the mountains, and they would establish monasteries where they would give things up to show they were so committed to the faith. Now that the empire had converted, they were so committed to the faith, they were giving things up. They were rejecting the softness of a conforming religion to the empire. And Lent, the idea of Lent took hold. Give something up for 40 days before Easter. Now, I myself, you all give up a vice for 40 days. I figure I'll take on a vice for 40 days and have some fun with something for 40 days while you guys give something up. I'll take on your vice. You give it up. I'll have a little fun. You be miserable. I'm not a celebrator of Lent. I understand. I appreciate the context of it and the giving up and the focus on it, but I don't participate in Lent. I grew up Southern Baptist. Now I'm a PCA Presbyterian. We put the fun in fundamentalism. I don't celebrate Lent. Catholics celebrate Lent. Lutheran celebrate Lent. Other Protestant denominations celebrate Lent. Mainline denominations in particular It's not my thing, but I appreciate it. I want you to understand, as people are talking about it today, where this idea comes from. As Christianity became a state religion, it became a soft religion in the eyes of some of the early church fathers, and they wanted people to still focus on the faith. And so they took this idea of 40 days of understanding the faith before you might die to 40 days of understanding the faith before you really commit, because your soul's at stake. Scripture is very clear that if you declare yourself a Christian, and you're not really, but you've had God's mercies in your life, you're going to be judged more harshly in the afterlife. People who come from a Christian family who reject the faith will have a worse time in eternity. In Scripture, the book of Hebrews, among others, writes about this. I bring all of this up for this. A lot of people, a lot of faithful adherents, believers, Christianity are focusing right now these 40 days on their faith. They're not there, but it is really hard in the whirlwind of a Donald Trump administration to not focus on politics. 40% of Democrats who watched Donald Trump last night came away angry. 40%. They came away angry. Meanwhile, a majority of Americans came away liking what they heard. People are more and more embracing politics as their religion, and it's making them angry. Republicans are doing it too, by the way. There are a whole lot of self-described Christians who are going to be on a boat fishing on Sunday instead of in church. I've tried to make it to Sunday school the last couple of weeks when I can, but I've traveled so much on Sundays. Or somebody in the house has been sick. It's been hard to get to church. This is the time of year I myself try to make myself go to church. I just want to remind you that life is too short to be so wrapped up in politics. As we head into the Lenten season and people do think about trying to give something up, sacrifice something, meditating on sin and redemption and salvation, life is too short to be perpetually angry about politics. And if you're a Democrat right now and you just happen to be listening to me, there's a whole lot of good in life. There's a whole lot of good. I mentioned in the last hour, Democrats need to get into the heartland where people across races in the South and some hole-in-the-wall diner, they're all in there eating together, laughing at the same jokes, talking to each other in their deep Southern accents that Yankees have a hard time understanding. A buddy of mine sent me a picture. He was at a gas station. There were three old men, two white, one black, sitting on a bench together eating lunch. The country is profoundly better than you think it is, regardless of your politics. The people are profoundly better than you think it is, than you think they are. And life is just too short to be perpetually in outrage over a man who has 4 years in office and then will go away. You've got over 1,400 days left of Donald Trump. If you're worked into existential frenzy now, you're not going to make it for 4 years. Your heart's not going to make it for 4 years. Your soul is not going to make it for 4 years. I'd prefer you keep listening to me every day, but maybe give up the political obsession for 40 days and see if you can survive. I think it'll do you some good. I think you'll do it. It'll do you good just to calm down. Find the good in your community. And don't find the political good. Don't find the people who agree like you and think like you and look like you. Find the people where you don't even know what they believe. You don't even know their politics. You don't even know who they voted for. Find those people doing good in your community and work with them. Find a local volunteer group. Find a child literacy program. Go volunteer in your local community. Seek the welfare of your local community. There you'll find your welfare. If you want to do something good, if you're not a believer, why don't you embrace it? People are willing to embrace traditions of faith practices and other things, even if they're not. They sometimes find some good. Why don't you find some good in this tradition of Lent right now? If you're obsessed with politics, left, right, or center, if you're obsessed with politics, why don't you give up your political obsession these 40 days and go devote yourself to a local charity in your community and see the good in your local community? See the good in your neighbor. Y'all, I don't mean to make light of the politics of the age, and there are people who are really worked into a frenzy about it. I get it. But when it makes you that miserable, it's on you. You've chosen to be miserable. You've chosen to allow Donald Trump to control your emotions. For better or worse, some of you are super excited because it's Trump, and you were angry when it was Biden, and you allowed politics to control your emotions. Life's too short to allow somebody in Washington, D.C. to control your emotions. We're in 40 days in the run-up to Easter. Whether you believe in it or not, why don't you adopt it as maybe a good and healthy practice for your mental health right now of stop being obsessed with politics and go find something good in your local community to be a part of. And maybe you can use these 40 days as Christians give things up to focus on Christ and salvation. You can give things up and focus on not caring about somebody in Washington, but caring about people in your community. And it's going to improve your mental outlook, I promise you.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Heads up, Hall County commuters. Red alert, all lanes completely shut down. Nasty crash here. 985 northbound at Highway 53, exit 16. Traffic troopers tell me you can exit off there and re-enter 985 northbound with that access road, but if you want to avoid it also, you can use Highway 13, even Thurman Tanner Parkway as some alternates, and construction still left lane in town, 400 southbound on the ramp to I-85 southbound, that construction again in the left lane. Traffic brought to you by Lear Capital. Our financial system is cracking under pressure. Your retirement is at risk. Take control now. Lear Capital is offering a free Sky High Silver Report and Precious Metals IRA guide at betternestegg.com. Don't leave your future to chance. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It should go without saying that I abhor violence.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I just don't feel like other people that I don't know need to know how I feel about things.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Termites eat 24/7, and your home is in their path of destruction. Scott Slade here for Breda Pest Management. You want a complete barrier from Breda, not a bait station. If your current service only inspects the outside, how do you know that the inside of your home is termite-free? Breda is better at beating termites. Only Breda inspects and protects the outside and inside. Plus, your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, for a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter. Or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. And I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, be happy to have you. Just stand by on the phones. I got to get this off my chest. Is Nancy Mace her real name? The Congresswoman from South Carolina. Is Nancy Mace her real name, or is her name Alex Forrest? I am more and more disturbed by the stunt she pulled in the House of Representatives. We have a speech and debate clause in the Constitution. The speech and debate clause says that a member of Congress can stand on the floor of the House or the Senate and say anything under the sun, true or untrue, about anything or anyone, and no one can do anything about it. And Nancy Mace decided to launch her gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina by standing on the floor of the House of Representatives and accusing men she knew of rape and a cover-up, and made it about the Attorney General of South Carolina complicit in covering up rape and abuse of women. The men have come forward and vigorously denied the claims. The Attorney General has come forward and said he's seen Nancy Mace repeatedly over the last year or so, and she's never even brought it up to him. And what I find very notable is that Nancy Mace has not brought up the accusations off the floor of the House of Representatives, where the speech and debate clause won't protect her. She comes across as Alex Forrest. Now, I was a kid when Fatal Attraction came out. Alex Forrest, that was Glenn Close's character who boils the rabbit. She's an insane person. Nancy Mace comes across as a deeply insane, crazy person. She's got the wild eyes. A few years ago, Nancy Mace supported legislation to give trans athletes access to girls' sports, and now goes out of her way to beat up trans athletes all the time. I'm actually opposed to trans athletes, but even I'm like, wow, you're just being cruel for the sake of being cruel. She's coming across as a crazy person, and I would just note she's not willing to make these accusations about these men outside of where she can't be sued. That's not a way to run a campaign. All right. I got to move on. Let me move on by telling you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them for less than $200 and save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. You get the Eden Pure Thunderstorm, it wipes out all odors. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm generates ozone. It latches onto the ion particles of odors and neutralizes them. It also gets rid of dust, pollen, pet dander. It's a It uses a filterless electrostatic plate. As the air pulls through, it latches onto the particles, so you don't have to have a filter subscription. It also generates plasma, wiping out 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. It's the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERICK3, ERICK3, at EdenPureDeals.com. You can get 3 of them. Upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your attic, your RV, your travel bag. You can hold them in your hand, plug them into the wall or with a USB cord into an outlet. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERICK3, ERICK, and the number 3, no space.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story, a 1-month exemption on some of President Trump's tariffs. Reporter Jeff Gilbert says it's designed to help U.S. car companies.
This coming after a discussion between the president and leaders of Ford, GM, and Stellantis. This gives car makers a little bit of breathing room, but does not remove uncertainty. Tariffs have the potential to add significantly to car makers' costs, something that could be passed on to consumers.
A child abducted in Atlanta 7 years ago is found safe in Colorado, and 2 people are now facing charges. U.S. Marshal Kirk Taylor says Abdul Aziz Khan, now 14 years old, was found with his non-custodial mother and her husband just outside Denver.
We went to 11 different states looking for this young lady and the child, and it had really gone cold. We entered it in NCMEC, we'd entered it in everything we could to try to keep shaking the tree and rattling the bushes to see if we could get it to fall out.
Aziz and another child were taken into protective custody by authorities. Aziz's disappearance went viral after it was documented in Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries series. Make sure your driver's license has a little star in the right corner. Starting May 7th, anyone 18 or older will need a passport or what's known as a real ID to board a domestic flight. According to TSA, about 78% of people who fly currently have the real ID. It'll also be needed to enter certain secure federal facilities. Catholics around the world marking Ash Wednesday. Ashes smeared on the forehead symbolize mourning and penance. They also remind Catholics of their mortality. Today starts 40 days of Lent, ending with Good Friday and Easter Sunday. It is now 2:32, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Oh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messethorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
When it's time to replace your windows, make sure you have options and get to choose the energy-efficient window that is right for your home, your style, and your budget. Dave Baker here for the only window company I recommend, Nelson Exteriors. With Nelson, you're in charge. Choose from many top-rated window manufacturers like Andersen and MI, all backed by Nelson's worry-free lifetime labor warranty. For your replacement windows, pick the company that's more picky than you. Google Nelson Exteriors.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Dealing with the traffic red alert up in Hall County, the Oakwood area, 985 northbound, bad crash, completely shutting down the interstate at Highway 53, exit 16, and it's also where exit 17 is. They're both right there together. You can use Highway 13 as an alternate, or if you're in the backup, you can exit off at exits 15 or 16 or 17 and just re-enter the interstate there. Elsewhere, construction continues 400 south, ramping to 85 south, heading into Midtown. Left lane of that ramp is blocked, slowing the ride out of Buckhead. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Right now, 53 degrees in Powder Springs, 56 in Decatur, 57 in Riverdale. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Greetings. Welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the phones, I'm going to go to Mark first. Colin from Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm living the dream. I hope you are, Eric.
I am.
Good. Hey, I had a question for you about your comment how you weren't in favor of the ability to deduct the interest off of a car loan. And I'm curious about that because as a consumer, if I look at the interest on a car loan as a part of the cost of that automobile, of purchasing that product, and there is a way to reduce that cost, how then would an automaker, with competition being what it is, how is an automaker just going to raise correspondingly that amount of money in the price of their car? If you had another part of the car, let's say the window manufacturer gave away glass to every car maker that made a car in America, and so the cost of the glass was removed from the car. Those auto manufacturers, I would think, would reduce the price of their product accordingly because they want to sell more of their product. Now, if you end up where the supply and demand comes into play and the demand for automobiles surpasses the supply, yes, I can understand how that would lead to an increase in price, much like the lower interest rates on the homes in the past 5-6 years. So can you help me understand why you're against that auto interest deduction?
Absolutely. It's called subsidy capture. When the government of the United States decides to give people tax breaks on goods that they purchase, historically, the price of the good rises. And there's a perfect example of this, Mark, although it's from before I was born. Back in the 60s and 70s, interest on homes tended to be tax deductible. And if you look at the price of homes after Congress got rid of the deduction for home interest, home prices fell. Why? Because it's the same thing as if the Democrats, you remember the Democrats wanted to give people, Kamala Harris wanted to give people a down payment, a $250,000 down payment on homes, and economists on the left, not just the right, said if you do that, the value of the house is going to rise by $250,000. If you deduct the price of interest on a car, what happens is all the auto manufacturers, and you're saying, well, I mean, some auto manufacturer, you're going to get cheap cars. That's what you can say, but in a market, when there's subsidy capture, the studies show, and again, the home ownership interest deduction is the perfect example of this, prices rise across the industry. Prices rise across the industry for a couple of reasons. One, there tends to be a spark in consumer demand when they think they're getting a good deal, and then two, the auto manufacturers realize they can capture the value of that deduction in the car by convincing people, well, you're going to be offset on this interest, even though the value of the car has risen. It's subsidy capture is what it is. And again, just go look at homeownership prices before and after homeownership interest was a tax-deductible thing for everybody, or home payments, what have you. The price of houses in this country has been affected by the tax code. The price of any product that can be captured in the tax code is affected by the tax code. And the most annoying thing about it, the biggest, most annoying thing about it, is that what happens with the deduction? You still got to pay it. it comes back to you in April when you file your taxes. It comes back to you in April. So it's still actually not a fantastic deal. It's something that the markets are going to capture because auto manufacturers want to get the best price from their car. And if you are deducting the interest on the car, well, the auto manufacturers understand that they can mark up the value of the car to capture a portion of it. Now, not all of it, because obviously every car is valued differently and everyone gets a different interest rate depending on your credit rating, but the price will go up so that the auto manufacturers are able to capture that interest rate. The better thing for the President of the United States to do is to deregulate the auto manufacturers so that they can lower the cost. Think of all the things the government requires car manufacturers put into cars now in the name of safety, and the safety value is de minimis. The cameras in the rear of the car, the tire pressure gauges for fuel efficiency, the auto stop-start button, all of those sorts of things that they have insisted that car manufacturers put in cars has driven up the price of a car. You get rid of those things, you're actually going to do the American public a favor and reduce the price of a car. To your example, Mark, a free windshield from windshield manufacturers, yeah, they're probably not going to factor in the windshield cost. But you give the American people a subsidy in the form of a tax deduction, the auto manufacturers, they're going to raise their prices to capture that because it ultimately works in the form of a subsidy to reduce the cost of the American taxpayer to be able to buy a car. The auto manufacturers are going to be able to raise their price. Joe, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. My question for you is, I really don't see the benefit of Trump taking such a condescending and adversarial tone when he's
What, Joe? Joe? Yeah, I lost you. You got cut off. I don't know, Joe. But to his condescending tone, there were people who commented last night about Donald Trump's tone. I thought that it's Donald Trump. I mean, it's Donald Trump, Joe. You may not like his tone, but he won the popular vote. People are used to Donald Trump. Because they're used to Donald Trump, he's kind of baked into the equation. You can say, and I'll be honest with you, there are times I think, I wish there was someone more of a statesman, a Ronald Reagan type who could give these grand speeches and stuff, but that's not what the American people voted for. So whether you or I like it or not, that's who the public voted for. And Joe, I would just tell you that if it upsets you, Donald Trump's tone upsets you, if it offends you, what have you, the reality of the situation is the American people voted for him, and they're used to him at this point. They had him as president once. They got it. They have him as president this time. And this is the thing I think that Democrats don't understand is that Democrats may get whipped into a frenzy about this stuff, but no one else does at this point. There are those of us in society who aren't Democrats who think, yeah, I wish we had a guy who would give one of these big flowing Ronald Reagan-esque speeches. That's not Donald Trump, and that's not what people voted for. People voted for Donald Trump in large part to protect them from the left. And Donald Trump gave an entire speech last night that was very much dedicated to the proposition of protecting them from the left. And the Democrats seem not to be able to enjoy any of it. In fact, this was one of the great lines last night from Donald Trump, who, well, if I can get this thing running again, it froze on me. So Donald Trump last night said he could cure cancer, and the Democrats wouldn't applaud.
This is my fifth such speech.
Technical error, my fault. But you remember the line last night. There is nothing I can say or do that will make these people happy. And he was right. And the reaction to it proved Donald Trump to be right.
Once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
He was right. He was right. All you have to do is not be angry about it. The Democrats can't help themselves. Chris, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Wonderful. Whatever happened to the $2 billion that Stacey Abrams was supposed to receive from Biden as he was ending his term in office?
You know, so the Washington Free Beacon broke that story a few weeks ago that Stacey Abrams, a group tied to her, got this massive multi-million-dollar grant to educate people about climate change or some such. Now, Abrams was on TV. They gave her because, Donald Trump attacked her, so they let her come on and be fawning over her and make Donald Trump the bad guy. But it actually does appear to be true. It actually does appear to be a real thing that this outside group by Abrams that didn't appear to have any environmentalist experience actually happened. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember the details in my head, and I can't remember all the details, but it was like $2 million to educate people on climate change. The group had backing from Stacey Abrams. I don't think she was directly on a day-to-day basis involved in the organization, but it was just some sort of wild grant that you're thinking about and thinking, why on earth did this group that had no background in environmentalism, why were they able to get some sort of grant? In fact, let's see, Stacey Abrams grant, Free Beacon. I had the story bookmarked the other day and lost it. So, yep, here we go. This is from the Washington Free Beacon. DOGE discovered $2 billion in taxpayer funds set aside for a fledgling nonprofit linked to perennial Georgia Democratic candidate Stacey Abrams. The EPA under the Biden administration awarded Power Forward Communities the grant in April 2024 as part of the agency's Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund program. Power Forward Communities received the Green Energy Grant despite the fact that it was founded months earlier in late 2023 and never managed anywhere near the grant's dollar figure. It reported just $100 in total revenue during the first 3 months in operation, according to its latest tax filings. Power Forward Communities grant was one of just 8 Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund grants that the EPA doled out in April 2024, and that altogether totaled $20 billion. Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator, announced on February 13th his staff and Department of Government Efficiency officials discovered the Biden administration parked that same $20 billion at an outside financial institution before leaving office, limiting the federal government's oversight of the program. The revelation that Power Forward Communities is among the beneficiaries of the funds Zeldin's team located raises ethics questions about how the Biden administration selected recipients of such massive grants and whether it played favorites when doling those grants out. Abrams was a vocal proponent of the Biden administration's green energy agenda and campaigned for Kamala Harris. It also appears to validate concerns expressed for years by Republicans that Biden administration officials would prop up organizations that were specifically designed to receive federal funding under programs like the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, which was created to operate as a green bank for the Democrats' Inflation Reduction Act that did no inflation reduction. I just think this is a fundamental problem. I think when the government throws money at people, it leads to this level of corruption. I had a woman come after me this morning, conservative lady. She says she hates Donald Trump, but she's very, very upset with DOGE pausing the grant funding for childhood cancer research. I'm not. I want to make sure the money is being spent by the right people. We have repeated examples of the Biden administration giving grants to organizations not doing good research, not doing good work. I'm okay with pausing the money. And frankly, I'm okay with ending the funding because we got $35 trillion in national debt. There is no sacred cow that can be untouched. I understand people want to fight childhood cancer. I fundraise to fight childhood cancer. I put my money behind fighting childhood cancer. But I want to make sure my tax dollars are being wisely spent. Matt, welcome to the show. Matt, St. Augustine, Florida. How are you?
I am good, Eric. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
Well, I'm a car dealer. Actually, I'm not a car dealer. I'm a car salesman. And I just wanted to kind of touch base on some of the mentions you had about the tax deductions on some cars. Like the EV cars, right?
Right.
right now there's I think it actually ends at the end of March, but there's a $7,500 tax deduction, and it's not really a tax deduction. It only lowers your taxes to the tax until you get a taxable amount reduced. But the only time the consumer really gets the full benefit of that is if they lease. Then generally the manufacturer applies that to the residual value of the car and gives you a better price. But it's still not really $7,500 in most cases because the car has to meet certain specifications. It has to have so many parts built here.
Right.
You have to have a certain income. So it's really kind of a blowhard. It's not really what it appears to be. And then you said something about safety features and, driving up the price of cars. I think that might be true to a point, but I sell luxury cars. And if you took our standard mid-level luxury car, it does not have the same standard features that some imports have.
Right.
The imports are beating our brains out of that, and they're beating us in price. So I don't know that I want them to not have backup cameras, and I don't know that I want to not have some of the safety features. They can do away with the auto-off thing because people just shut it off anyway. But that's a result of the EPA having ultimate authority about the gas mileage by fleet for cars, and that's kind of a thing that the Obama administration did. And that's really where the whole green thing is, because not only does the manufacturer have to have a certain miles per gallon per year, but it has to reduce a certain amount every year, ultimately phasing out ICE machines. So I hope that makes sense.
And Matt, just so you know, I want to say it was the Reason Foundation or the Cato Foundation one that actually did a study on the cost of added features to vehicles, particularly lower-end vehicles, actually could be reduced significantly in price. Not high-end vehicles, but the low-end vehicles. Actually, you could save poor Americans who want a car money by getting rid of some of the safety features. When you correlate some of the safety features to actually how many lives are saved, it's so reduced, it's so small, it's negligible, you could reduce the price. But, again, you raise the tax subsidy on EVs. That's an excellent point that gets into the tax deduction issue. EVs, because of the tax subsidy to a degree, you get rid of the EV subsidy. Either they're going to go out of business or they're going to reduce prices. But you capture people with that subsidy in ways that raises the price. That's why these sorts of subsidies and tax deductions on certain goods are not good, because the private sector then captures those things. Whether it's the mortgage interest deduction, there's lots of studies to show, or the way they used to do it back in the 60s and 70s with even larger portions of home loans were deducted. I know you've got the mortgage interest deduction now. You used to have larger portions of your home payment were deductible back in the 60s and 70s. And when Congress changed that law, it lowered the price of homes because people were factoring that into the price of a home. That's the way the free market works. In fact, Hillsdale College has a great class explaining these sorts of things with their basic economic class that you can take. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com today, you can sign up for Hillsdale College and take their classes. They've got 40 to choose from, including one on basic economics and the supply-demand curve and how it works. You can improve your understanding of it. Find a class that resonates with you on a topic you care about, whether it's the Roman Empire or pre-colonial America or C.S. Lewis or Shakespeare. And take the classes with some of Hillsdale's finest professors, and there's no charge. You learn, it's rewarding, you do it at your own pace, they're entertaining, you're not going to get bored with it, and you're going to get smarter. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. There is no charge. This is part of Hillsdale College's continuing mission since 1833 to educate Americans. ericforhillsdale.com. Go sign up with Hillsdale College today.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
2:53 in the Cool Ray Carrier 24-hour traffic center. Traffic red alert in Hall County. Crash 985 northbound at Highway 53, exit 16 is blocking all lanes. Use Highway 13. New crash at I-285 eastbound outer loop at I-675, knocking out two center lanes. Afternoon volume picking up through downtown I-75, 85 southbound, getting slower from 17th Street down to I-20. Jay Holloway, 95.5 WSB.
Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, hoping with Paws Atlanta to find a home for our WSB Dog of the Month, Goldfish. 3-year-old Pitty, displaced after the Biolab fire, loved a good belly rub when he came to visit us. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog, and our sponsor Finley Roofing will pay the adoption fees for Goldfish's new human. WSBRadio.com/dog.
It's Eric Erickson here. Every single day now, I deal with a malicious request to click a link. My daughter the other day got a text message some of you have probably gotten. Click on it and pay your toll, and it's just a scam. All these things keep happening. They're preying upon the young, senior citizens, and you and me. But there's good news. Vision Computer is here to help you. If you have their managed service, you're never alone, and in just 15 seconds, expert tech support is at your fingertips, ready to protect you from online threats, scams, and computer problems. And you don't have to take my word for it. We're a Vision Computer household, but they've got thousands of 5-star reviews beyond my household reviews, but I'd give them 5 stars too. They've got thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews because they're simply the best. Call them at 404-COMPUTE today or visit them online at visioncomputers.com, because when it comes to your security, you can't afford to wait. Vision will take care of you. Tell them I sent you. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-210-4298. 800-210-4298. 800-210-4298.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the information without the spin. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, welcome. My apologies to those of you still on hold today. We are completely out of time. We've been running long. You do need to know that the United States Supreme Court has temporarily allowed a judge's order to go forward with an unfreeze of $2 billion in funds to USAID. The unsigned order is Department of State versus AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition refuses to stay the restraining order by a Biden-appointed judge, Amir Ali, to force payment of the money. However, it's an unsigned opinion that John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett appeared to side with the liberals on. A sharp dissent from the 4 other conservatives on the court, and it appears the Supreme Court just did it as a procedural matter, but still intends to hear the case and seems inclined to actually allow the administration to freeze whatever funding it wants to freeze.
Everything now is geared to try to get you and I to spend more money, more money, more money. Social media, texts, websites soliciting us. It's so weird when I'm sitting next to my wife and she's looking through her emails, how many solicitations she's getting that say sale, sale, sale. If you know that you really have trouble controlling your wants because of these endless barrages of ads saying sale, buy now, buy 2, get a 3rd free, and all the rest, what I ask you to do is to really rethink